Let's go. There'll be no discussion. So we'll move on to something new. We'll get to that point shortly. Because once the rain stops, everything will be forgotten. We'll wait until the rains come again before we start acting. Question is, what are we doing now? Like I said, ARNOLD APPIAH is President, NDC, Pro Forum, North America. ARNOLD, good morning, and thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, Senna. And thank you for having me. Hope you're doing well.
I am doing, and I hope you are too.
Yes, by God's grace.
Okay. A few things. Okay, so you live in the US, the United States. Because everywhere flooding happens, does it not? And it happens where it does happen where you are, where you've lived.
Well, no, where I live, no.
No flooding?
No. No, it doesn't flood, the best of my knowledge. Some parts of the United States, once in a while, like East Coast, New York, unless there's a hurricane, that we all know that that's a different level. Beyond that, regular rainfall, just like what happens here in Ghana, no, it doesn't flood. You wouldn't even see it.
I see. What do they do differently?
Well, I think it's planning and leadership. That's the difference.
Planning and leadership.
Yes. These are the two key components. Everything has to be well planned. There has to be that would ensure things are well structured. More futuristic approach towards things, and ensuring that the human activity doesn't influence negatively on the day-to-day activities of the people, especially when it comes to management of emergency situations.
But we also have town and country planning departments. Of course, we have leadership. And of course, this town and country planning people walk about and write on the buildings, stop work, produce permits. You know Ghana, you know that they are constantly at work trying to prevent people from building where they are not supposed to, among others. How differently do they do it? Because we also plan some. If you want to build, you must go to town and country planning. You submit your plan, they look at your site, among others. How different is their planning from ours?
Well, Senna, let me say this. Between planning and implementation, there's something in the middle called discipline. Discipline is the ability to follow through whatever that you've planned in ensuring that it's well executed or well implemented. The challenge with us as people here, we can plan, put everything in the books, let it look very, very beautiful, speak about it, get everybody to be thinking that we are going to do something different this time. But when the discipline needed to ensure the successful implementation of it, we lack it. We lack discipline, and that stems from the leadership all the way to the person at the bottom. So you may have people that you may call them leaders. Yes, we have infrastructure such as town and country plan, and I call it infrastructure in the sense that it's more of a physical structure rather than looking at it in an institutional standpoint. Institutions work. Institutions coordinate. Institutions provide results. Institutions is where the systems are working effectively with or without human interference. Then you know that this is an institution. In Ghana, unfortunately, we do not institutionalize things. We build infrastructure. So you can see that, there's a building there. There are people in there. They are working. But what are the effective mechanisms that ensure that the essence of which the establishment was put there is yielding results? That's where we lack. And that's why, once in a while, nature will remind us on what is expected of us as leaders, as a people, as a community, as a country, that, look, we owe it a responsibility to ourselves and especially the future generation to change our mindset in approaching national issues. So yes, we have town and country planning. How effective have they been over the years? Because flooding has been part and parcel of us since day one. It's been part of humanity since day one. However, people have learned from it, people have grown from it, and have developed systems to ensure that even when nature gets upset, the impact will be minimized. Look at Ghana. 11 years ago. Why are we still here? Who are those responsible for this? And what are the mechanisms to ensure that we follow through everything that we said 11 years ago? It's an indictment on all of us as a country. It is an indictment. But most importantly, now, I'll say this without fear of favor. The reset agenda. The reset agenda that we vigorously campaigned, worked, researched, put the manifesto back and forth, we spent time and energy on it. How effective is it at the local level? That's the question. Why are we still here? We are in a reset mode. We are resetting the system. The ones that are not working, the ones that have not been that effective, we've put people there who have who are supposed to have the thorough understanding and mechanism to change the paradigm shift in ensuring that we do not revisit the past traumas. But here we are again. So you ask yourself, are we resetting at the local level?
Okay. So the question is whether the reset is reflecting at the local level.
Yes. Because, let me say this. I've been listening to the news, since the flooding started. We've called on engineers. It has been nothing by explaining the why and why and why. 10 years ago, some engineers explained the same thing that today these engineers are explaining. So you can see a certain pattern that next year, should it happen, we'll have new engineers that will come and explain the same thing to us again. So at what point in time would we move from this explanation and begin to do something different? This is my thinking. Let's say let the past be the past. Let's learn from this. Moving forward, how do we ensure that all the examples, all the experiences that we've acquired based on this flooding, we would ensure that next year, should it happen again, at least it will be minimized. The human factor that is supposed to be managed by leadership is supposed to come out with a blueprint that they themselves will walk the talk. Can we begin by going to the various districts, various communities, earmarking areas that we know that this place, when it rains, let the engineers advise us that, look, this area, when it rains to a certain level, the place will be flooded. Let's put, a signboard, something that's all, put a fence around it that do not build here, do not throw rubbish here, do not do this, and have a monitoring team that would constantly be reviewing, going around ensuring that places that have been earmarked to be a flooding zone or to be areas that are supposed to be a waterways are not, abused by just building and doing other things. Can we begin to be more practical, be more pragmatic, and existing structures that we know that next year, should it rain this way, it will cost the assembly twice what it's costing us. What are we going to do about it now? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. Okay, and I know it's going to end up with statements like funding. So now, it takes leadership to raise funds. It takes leadership to engage communities. Look, there's no successful nation that develops strictly by the budget of the country. Communities come on board. Donors come on board. Benevolent society members also come on board. Everybody comes in and chips something and contributes something to develop communities. The government cannot develop every corner of the country. But one thing is for sure, that we live in every part of this country. And when leadership engages the community and leadership is transparent, I can bet my last dollar on this. You will find somebody that will come out and say, hey, I can give you X amount of money. I'll give you what? For the sake of our community, I'm ready to support. But ask yourself, what are our leaders doing? Our MMDCs, our regional ministers. How are we engaging the business community to see how they can also come in and prioritize their CSOs or whatever, public commitment that they do to ensure that it handles some of these things. Let me give you Wiley Domi Kwabenya. Domi Kwabenya is more of a business, community town. You have the affluent living there. You have the middle class living there. You have all type of businesses, the banks, just like we are all there. When was the last time the MC engaged the business community to see how they can help support the assembly's budget? When? What proposals have he presented to the various communities to see how they can also come in and willingly say, I'm going to give you X, Y, or Z to shore up your budget so you can execute this project? You can't fully depend on your district assembly common fund. It wouldn't do much. But it takes the people, show leadership. That is why we are in this quagmire. That is why we are in this quagmire.
So for you, what needs to change is enforcement in the dry season, not enforcement in the rainy season.
Yes. Yes. And so now we need to begin to institutionalize our decentralization very well. We need to, look, we have it on paper. The concept is there. We are implementing it to a certain level, but let's face it is not all the way to the bottom. Because if it is, you would see that even the police system in our various districts, they are more effective. You would see that issues of unemployment is resolved at district level. That you will see that issues of road network and patches are well dealt with at the district level. Not everything should go to the national level. If it is well decentralized, then now look at some of our police stations that we have. Look at Atomic Police Station, an old building sitting there in a community that you can easily raise less than $5 million if you want to. What is stopping leadership in engaging that for the sake of the security of, let's say, Domi Kwabenya? Can we get a proposal from our police at the district level? Mind you, the MCE, they are the head of our security agencies at the various district level. What's the budget that we can all contribute to ensure that at least we buy 6 police cars or 10 motorbikes, or get them very sophisticated IT system that will be able to give them better surveillance in the system for the sake of everybody? Who wouldn't want to contribute? But where is leadership? So what are we researching here? So the flooding is here with us. And we are hearing all the excuses. The water, you are saying that plastic here and then we are throwing. Look, that is the microcosm of the problem. Let's face it, we use that as an example. Our drainage system, how well we built it, how we ensure that it works effectively, and there's leadership. That's where we lack.
Leadership.
Leadership. So now, let me take an example. You see, traffic light.
Mm.
It's a reflection of humans. Because let's be human beings alone. Generally, humans in general, we are unruly. Okay? But there has to be something that would ensure that we are always checked, we fall in line, we're whipped in line, and follow a certain pattern so that we can all be civil. So a traffic light is there. Even though we are humans, ideally we should be able to say that, oh, when I guess you have to stop for this person to go, and that person should go, will get to my attention. No, but naturally we wouldn't. So they've built a system called a traffic light to tell us that you stop, let these people go. And then when it gets your turn, you go. So we follow. That's when you know that things are working. And that's the concept that we're supposed to have. We need to build systems at all levels that we will all follow, that we will know that there are consequences should we not follow, whether you are the top person or you are the bottom person.
Arnold, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you, Senator, for having me.
Because this is a conversation that will continue. Will not end here. Next week we'll continue because next week we'll have a man who has been looking at the nature of our landscape and how some decisions we've made, including very prominent leaders, what we've done is a bigger part of the problem than we think. Well, taking us exactly 49 minutes past 9 here in our studios.